right, good morning. Good morning. Neff 909, what's cracking? How is everyone this morning? If I could figure out my password to get into my computer, that would be beautiful. Not really. I mean, I know the password. I just obviously typed it in wrong. Oh, I had caps lock on. Duh. All right, here to learn. Listen, if you're here to learn, you're in the right spot. I am definitely, if you've never been on here before, I am definitely beginner friendly. We definitely talk crypto for sure. We're going to be doing an interview this morning, so it's going to be fun, guys. I do a lot of interviews. I like to get to know the creators, and this morning is Crypto Insight UK. He's super big on XRP, so if you guys like XRP, stick around. I've got a bunch of questions for him that I'm super interested to talk to him about and really get to know him as a person too. So, sorry, putting a piece of gum in him, which is what you're not supposed to do during an interview or anything else. Yeah, you know what? It seems like people either love XRP or hate it. One of the two. So, if you love XRP, stick around. If you hate XRP, stick around because it'll be fun for you to hear what's going on. So yeah, super good dude though. I started it off like in the morning sometimes because he's over in the UK. I would see him pop up on my on my feed or whatever, and I would just kind of sneak into his lives and listen, and that's kind of how I do things. I like to see what people bring to the table, and I really liked. Seems like he's got a level head on his shoulders. I know he loves XRP, but from what I've seen, it seems like he also has a grasp on reality, and that's where my questions come in with XRP sometimes. So when people just absolutely have no grasp at on reality and no touch with reality. So I'm interested to hear his thoughts. It's gonna be good. The markets this morning, guys, red. You guys probably knew that. And yeah, I can't wait for the SEC lawsuit to settle either. I'm going to get into it some more, but I've got some fat bags of XRP, like really nice bags of XRP. So I'm hoping it hits. I'm hoping it hits a crazy number as well. Even though I'm not part of the XRP army, and I will not fight you for what XRP is going to hit. It's going to make me a lot of money. So, and screen skill, yep. I don't know about the last 3. I don't know about the last 3 months. I guess I'd have to double check that on the charts, but yeah, it's definitely down that much in the last little bit over a month, no doubt. Because the reason you're seeing a 3-month chart like that is because it's the end of June, and so at the end of March, April, May, the end of March, yeah, we were at like end of March, start of April. Was middle of April was the peak. So yeah, I mean, we're definitely way down, no doubt. But the way that I look at it, guys, opportunity. I'm a long-term hodler. I also do some swing trades, but most of what I do is long-term. And if you believe in this long-term, then this low price gives you an opportunity to scoop it up for cheaper. I honestly don't know if I think this is as low as it's going to go. I won't be surprised to see this go lower. If it breaks 30 again, it broke 30, and I thought 28 when it broke 30, I don't know, a few days ago, a week ago, whatever. I thought that was going to be like the final shakeout, and I thought we were going to have a kind of a steady, slow climb upward. But it looks like we're going to drop back down and test again. At the end of the day, guys, I love picking up crypto on sale, and that's how I look at this. I look at this as it's on sale. It's an opportunity. Get your dollar. Like if you jumped in and you were in at the all-time highs, listen, not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but if you jumped in at all-time highs, the reality is this does nothing but give you an opportunity to dollar cost average and bring that average cost down, rather. So keep that in mind. It is an opportunity. And if you don't believe in it long term, you don't think that this is an opportunity, then maybe you're in the wrong space. You know what I mean? Just keep that in mind. I don't suggest anyone get into crypto if they're not prepared to wade through some of this volatility. Ethereum's way down. Everything's down, and we're plummeting as we speak. Let me see here. Let me pull up TradingView. Let's see here. Oh yeah, big red candle on the 30-minute. Let's go on the hourly. Hourly, got a couple red. Yeah, like we're headed downward. Weekends are never kind, or aren't usually kind. So, good morning from Wisconsin. Well, good morning from Ohio. Here to learn. You only hold XRP on Coinbase. What are a few other easy exchanges to get more XRP? I haven't done this, but actually, if you stick around for the interview, that's going to be who you're probably going to want to ask that to. But my understanding from my following is that Uphold allows you to buy it easily. When I have stacked more XRP as of late, I've been buying it on BitTrue. Hello from London. Yeah, cryptoinsightuk is about to be on, and he's from across the pond over there, for sure. But Uphold, I've not bought on Uphold, so keep that in mind. But I've heard that they're easy to buy XRP from. And then I've been buying it on BitTrue, but that's more of an advanced trading pair, conversions. There's, you kind of need to know what you're doing if you're going to do the trading pairs. You need to at least have a good understanding of crypto. Hello from the PA mountaintop. Good morning from Ohio Plains, from Columbus, Ohio. Belgium, heck yeah. Where else is everybody from? Ha2 Max, you said, what should I buy now to make some extra cash? I don't look at crypto as a get rich quick thing, or just a quick flip. The reality is right now the market has lots of question marks, and I am sitting. I actually consolidated 23 assets down to 4, and I just took profits on a ton. I mean, I've been in this market for years now, but I consolidated down, took profits, and I'm sitting here with Ethereum, Bitcoin. I've got some money in stable coins, and then I'm not letting go of my XRP because I believe they're going to win this lawsuit, and I think it's going to rip. So everything's on sale, but who knows? Is it going to continue to go on sale more? We're actively dropping as we speak, but I look at this as a long-term play, guys. This is I'm looking at 2030 and beyond. I'm 37 years old. My game plan is to be able to. I probably won't. I own my own business. I do a lot in crypto. I've made a lot of money with crypto and really love it. This is my passion. I enjoy teaching people about crypto. If you guys are just jumping on, I talk about crypto. I talk about my recovery from drugs and alcohol because I had a wild life, right? And then I talk about God. So those are the 3 things. If you don't like that, well, I'm just telling you what you're going to get from this page. So, oh no, laser beam. Listen, bro. We've been, you know what I mean? We've been tight. You've been around for a minute, but don't be shilling that go blue in the chat. I'm gonna have to block you. You know what, Cardano? I actually had a bunch of Cardano, but I took profits on Cardano as well. I will buy back in on Cardano, and I will buy back in on VeChain. But as of right now, I took profits across the board, and it's a good thing I did. Short term, anyway. I'm just waiting for a confirmation, moving back the other direction. I am a fundamental trader that uses the charts as well. So, yeah. Looks like Will, his name's Will from cryptoinsightuk. Looks like he's going to be on in about 10 minutes. So I'm super excited for that. And we will get going. We got Calgary, Canada. Great state of Arkansas. Fort Myers, Florida. I love Fort Myers Beach. I just like Fort Myers, period. It's beautiful down there. Tennessee. Yep. Blockchain Boys saying XRP is trash. Blockchain Boys never liked XRP, period. So that's not a surprise. Oh, you're in New York? Yeah, BitTrue. But BitTrue, you have to do a trading pair unless, I guess you could, I think you can do KYC on BitTrue as well. I haven't done that. I've only used it with trading pairs. And if you're new to the space, whoever was asking that was pretty new to the space. You start telling somebody how to move from one wallet to another and using trading pairs. It's a complex runaround that takes some time to get into. So yeah, what else we got here? Yeah, Ethereum's my girlfriend. This is my girlfriend right here. So I definitely love Ethereum, as I have on a Bitcoin T-shirt. But I've got a number of crypto-related, gear. So thanks for the follows, guys. If you're not following me, shoot me a follow. You can also click on my name, and just like with YouTube, you can set notifications. So you can set the little bell notifications. I think from my profile or clicking on my name, a bell option should come up, and you can do that. Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning. What do I think about the Pablo prediction? Pablo makes predictions all the time. I guess it depends on which prediction you're talking about. But if you're talking about it dipping down in the low 20s, we're flirting with 30 right now. I think if we started to say this earlier, I think if we bust 30 again, I think there's a very good chance that we're gonna blast back into the 20s and probably blast back in hard. So that's part of the reason why I consolidated and took profits. So thanks for the follows, guys. Marks, I don't get into the pump coins. I don't like pump coins. I don't like meme coins. So that's kind of my thoughts on Shiba. I think it introduces people into the crypto markets, which is a good thing, but I think a lot of times it introduces them in the wrong way. And they get in with more of a like they think that they're investing when the reality is, and this is just facts. A lot of people make money on Shiba. A lot of people have lost money on Shiba, but the reality is it's gambling. You at that point are full on gambling. There's no actual like use case or project that any problem that it solves. You are saying, hey, I believe that the people can pump this up, which I'll never underestimate the power of the people. We've all seen how that's worked out this last year. But same thing with Dogecoin. It relies on people to pump it. So it's just not my thing. That's it. Is there any crypto exchange that uses MT4? What's MT4? XRP. Yeah, we're about to be talking about XRP. He's about to be on here in just a minute. Crypto Insight UK will. We're going to be talking XRP for sure. My preferred pronouns are he, him. Is that how you even say that? I actually don't even know how to say that, but I'm a dude. Appreciate you asking, I guess. What's short-term XRP target if BTC doesn't pump? Well, I mean, if BTC doesn't pump, it's gonna move right. It's gonna move right with it. But listen, fundamentals on XRP are what's gonna drive XRP's price at this point. Period. End of discussion. Right? Things happening within the case that look bullish for XRP are going to be what's going to pump XRP at this point. I don't think opening up a chart and looking at a inverted head and shoulders pattern is going to tell you a whole lot, considering the fact that they're in the middle of this lawsuit and they need to win. That's my thoughts. So, a Satoshi for my thoughts. HBAR, I love HBAR. HBAR is incredibly fast. I like the gossip about gossip protocol, where instead of having like with blockchain, where like basically like branches or whatever are chopped off, the gossip about gossip just has every single node talking to the last one. Like basically everybody's whispering in the ear of the person before them, and yeah, I think it works. I think it works. Oh, oh. Now I see what you were saying. So INX, any other crypto Mason says $200 trillion market. I guess I'd have to look at that, but a $200 trillion market, I don't even know what, I mean, the only market that I see that is anywhere near like that large is the derivatives market. And everything combined put together is like a quadrillion dollars, which is crazy. So, you said you've got funds. You're waiting until BTC is at 25K. Decent idea, right? Yeah, I mean, we'll never know. Like, or well, we will know afterwards, right? But as of right now, I guess again, not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but if this tells you anything, I'll tell you what I've done. I took 23 assets, combined them down, took profits into Bitcoin, Ethereum, stable coins, and then kept my XRP. So if that tells you anything, this market is super unsure of what it's doing right now, and just need to understand that. The Crystal Lee, good morning, good morning, good morning. I watched a couple of your videos last night, Crystal, and you definitely make me laugh. So I like that. I want to give you a little shout out there. Slept it out for the lives. I was looking forward to it all week. Heck yeah, that's what's up. That's what's up. MetaTrader 4 is the preferred trading platform in currencies. Yeah, I never got into Forex, if that's what you're saying. Stocks and then crypto. So HNT, helium. Yeah, so the helium tokens, I think the helium idea is awesome. I actually looked into it. And then I'm ADD and I got sidetracked. I was like, squirrel. And then all of a sudden, I wasn't looking into it anymore. But when I did look into it, the reason I got sidetracked is when I saw that it was taking like months and months to get them. And at the end of the day, I've never mined anything, right? I've been a big investor and I've never mined anything. It's super simple. And I like the idea of it. I think it's really cool, basically free Wi-Fi type of an idea. I think it's awesome. So I think it'll do well. Is there any more leverage exchanges left in the U.S. since Kraken disabled it this week? I actually didn't know Kraken disabled it that this week. I did not know that. You need a VPN for a number of the exchanges if you're doing the leverage trading, guys. If you're leverage trading, please understand you really need to be heavy in the markets if you're going to be leverage trading. It is absolutely, there's no other way to put it. It's freaking dangerous. Period. End of discussion. Crystal, thank you. Yeah, I think it's fun, and I do talk to them about crypto too. So some people get irritated, guys. With I've seen some people. You can never make everybody happy, so it is what it is. But some people get irritated with oh, let's talk crypto. I came here for crypto. Like, what are you doing? Well, I'll tell you what. You can come meet me at my house for crypto, right? But the reality is you're meeting me at my house, right? And you're going to learn about me. And you need to learn about the person that you're talking to and interacting with. And if you're going to follow somebody, maybe you should understand, hey, who this person is, right? And no, nobody's coming to my house. I was just making a generalized statement. Yeah, Crystal, that's what's up. I looked at them; they were taking forever, and then I got sidetracked and didn't end up doing yield farming. I am not doing any yield farming. I'm not. JP Morgan making its own coin. Is that real, and does it affect XRP? Everybody's talking about that. Let's talk to Will about that when he gets on. But yeah, I think they're making their own blockchain, actually, to take it one step further. The reality is, guys, if you didn't think that these banks were going to fight back in some manner, you're crazy. Money, he who controls the money controls the world, right? And these banks are not going to let go of control that easy. Why do you think they've been fighting crypto so hard? Because they've been trying to position themselves to get into to a spot where they can move forward and they can be a part of this. They realized a while ago that, hey, we're not stopping this. They saw the light at the end of the tunnel, and at that point, the light at the end of the tunnel was a freaking train, right? They were going to get run over, right? Now they're trying to position themselves to say, okay, well, if you can't beat them, join them, and that's what it is, yo. What's up? Sorry, sometimes you'll hear little rap comments come in. I just love music, and just that's what that was. Who does a good tutorial on practical Binance trading, how to place stops, limits, etc., etc.? You know what? Let me write that down. Setting stops, limits, etc. I had been doing like word of the day type stuff where I would explain simple ideas like that. Maybe I'll do something like that with stops, trailing stops, limit orders, all of that. And then as far as Binance, we use Binance.us in the US, but maybe I can hook you up. There's a bunch of really good content though out there that's easy to understand, um, that people put out, for sure. Like exploring blockchain, she does a really good job. Actually, Meg has been doing a good job with that. I feel like I do a good job with it, but I also like to have my humorous side, and I've been doing so many of these interviews that it's kind of got me sidetracked from some of those. But ultimately, I'm here to help you guys learn so that we can all, hopefully make some money and not get scared out of our positions. Why would a bank want to use another bank's coin? Yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting at. And I'm interested to talk to Will about this. I am interested. Ontario is no longer allowing Binance Exchange to be used? Huh. Interesting. You wanted to short BTC, Binance at 35K, just can't figure out how to. Well, yeah, that's shorting is a whole nother beast. That's beyond setting a stop and limit order. Shorting is way different than that. So yeah, here comes Will, the man, the myth, the legend. How you doing, dude?
I'm all right, mate. How are you? Thanks for the intro.
Good. Hey, so how many people you have in your chat right now? Do you have a number of people already, or?
Yeah, I've just been live. Got 56.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure that you didn't like just jump in and there was only like a couple people or whatever. I'd wait. But so just to kind of go over things, guys. This is Will, Crypto Insight UK. If you're not following him, shoot him a follow. He talks a lot about crypto. Period. He likes XRP. I'll let him explain all the things that he loves and what he's about. So I won't do that for him. But Will, I know we haven't done this before. So first of all, nice to meet you. I'm looking forward to doing this today. I actually low key have been following you for a little while. You would be on like a number of times when I'm up in the morning. It's like 7 a.m. here, so it'd be like maybe noon where you're at or whatever. And one of the things that I liked is I felt like you seem to have the things that you like, right? But you also seem to me to have a level head about it. It's not just some wild tinfoil hat idea. Like I feel like you have some really good thoughts and you do your research on stuff. So I like that. But I want to get to know you a little bit. So I'm going to ask you some questions that's literally about you. I won't ask you for your address or anything wild like that. And get to know you a little bit. And then I want to talk a little bit about XRP. I want to talk about just crypto in general. Does that sound good?
Awesome. Yeah. So guys, if you don't already follow the Crypto Keeper, one of the reasons that I really wanted to talk to you too was that I see that you're quite a genuine guy, and you just spit what you think about crypto, and you try and back it up with facts that you know, and that's brilliant. That's what I want. I don't like speaking to people who haven't done any research into anything, and you also have a clear drive where you want to go. Like you're here, you're not scared to talk to someone. You're trying to get people on your podcast. I understand that you're smaller and you're building traction. You're building traction because you're doing these things that other people don't want to do, and so I really respect that, and that's why, I wanted to speak to you as well. So there's you've got a lot of things going for you. You seem like a very genuine guy. So yeah, just hit me up with whatever you want to talk about, and we'll start anyway. As I said already, guys, go follow him, check him out on TikTok. He puts out some both funny and informative crypto videos. I watched. I think the first one I ever saw of you was where it was like a crypto party, and you were like,
"Oh yeah, you like that one?"
Yeah. And then obviously you've been in my live a few times, and yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that crypto party one. So I'm so new to TikTok. I've literally only had this page for like less than a month now, right? And so it was very new to me how to make these videos. I will tell you, that crypto party one took me like an hour or more to make it, because, and correct me if I'm wrong, maybe you can tell me, when you cut up the videos like that, and let's say you're changing outfits or whatever, you can't record. Can you record without, if you're using TikTok, you have to record them in order, right? The only way that I could do everything in one outfit and then change, I mean, is that right, or am I wrong? And I just,
you can change it. So if you go, when you like record it, and you finish the recording, whatever you're doing, if you go to the next bit just before you're about to post, where you can add music, stickers, that sort of thing, on the right hand side there'll be a little thing that says
edit
like a
clips.
just video. Yeah, and on that you can move the storyline, so you can like move a clip towards the end, and you can like reshoot. So sometimes, like if I've done like a minute video and I watch it over, and because I often when I'm recording, I'll say a bit, and then pause it, and then say another bit, and then pause it. But sometimes when you like start to record, it misses the start of the recording. So sometimes you have to you can reshoot it there though, so you don't have to start the whole video again. So you just press that, and you can reshoot the clip.
If you could have been a fly, on the wall for all those freaking costume changes, if you will, dude. Oh my gosh! If I would have known that, I would have obviously done it that way. So good to know. You're already helping me out. I appreciate it.
Yeah, but that's all about that's all about learning, man. Like I'm not amazing on TikTok either. Like I didn't use it before I started doing crypto TikToks. So like I'm still learning too, and I learn things all the time. Like some people just say, "Oh, do you not know you can do that?" And I'm like, I'm an idiot. It makes you feel like an idiot, even though it's just about learning. It's about the journey, isn't it?
No doubt. Right now, I'm trying to figure out Discord. I got invited to a creators Discord last night, and I had a Discord for PlayStation, and I also have one that I set up for my people, but I haven't done anything with it yet, and I'm trying to figure it out. And when I accepted the invite, for whatever reason, it tossed me into this creators group with my PlayStation name, and everybody was like, "Who the heck is this?" Actually, Crystal Lee's in the chat right now, and she was like, "Who is a big 2 thumbs up?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh!" And I was like trying like hell to figure out how am I gonna freaking change this, you know? So
yeah, so I'm the same, because I'm like, even my crypto knowledge starts from competitive esports. So I played competitive Call of Duty since I was like 16, and I'm 28 now. So
really,
I'm mainly so I used to stream that sort of thing. So my Discord was my PlayStation name as well, but I did a few so I do one-to-ones like on Patreon with people, and someone wanted to do it on Discord, so I just changed my Discord name to my crypto name. But I only really speak to my mates like who I play PlayStation with in Discord now, and they all know that I do crypto TikTok. So I'm just called cryptoinsightuk on Discord now anyway.
Interesting. So you say you're 28 years old. Where are you from, and where do you live now?
Okay, I'm from Leicester, England, and I still live in Leicester, England. I live.
It's Leicester.
Leicester, yeah. Okay. Leicester. So a lot of people call it like Leicester. Or
That's what I would have thought.
It's just pronounced Leicester, yeah. So yeah, I live with my mum at the minute. I went to university when I was like 19. I studied physical education and school sport to be a PE teacher. I left university, went to Camp America, actually worked in Wisconsin with special educational needs children for a summer, like doing like sports and stuff like that. Came back, worked a bit part-time, started up an eco company, importing eco products in the UK, went traveling to South America, worked a ski season in the French Alps, came back, did my company full-time, I'll go on to crypto in a minute as well. Just giving more of my personal background. So did a season. Worked my company, went to Australia, came back, then C19 came, pandemic, started streaming PlayStation full time, playing in PlayStation tournaments.
Let me ask you something on that real quick. How does one get to? So I play Call of Duty with my buddies, right? And I don't play a ton, but I just know that all right, so I know people cheat all the time. I get it, right? It's very obvious when people are cheating, I think. But how do you, is it just pure, it has to be purely playing just a ton to be, because some of the things that people do, were you playing on PC or were you playing on a console?
I play on console, yeah.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. So the PC guys, my buddy Ray, he is an absolute savage. And the PC, I feel like, has a lot of differences. The gun swaps are really quick. The movement is much different. The all. So, what were you playing on, PlayStation or Xbox?
Yeah, I play on PlayStation, but my PlayStation is pretty rubbish. I've got like a PC, but it's not quite like the specs aren't quite good enough to run Warzone.
Gotcha. So how do you get into where you're like,
and
okay,
Wassim,
I'm
thank you
gonna
for
play
the golden mics. Sorry. I was just saying thank you. Someone just dropped me some donations. Thank you, I'm Wassim, for that. Yeah, sorry.
So how do you get to the point where you're like, you know what, I'm gonna play competitive esport? Like, how does that
Sure.
happen?
Okay. So back in the day, where it started is there's a few websites basically where you find it's like a third-party website that finds you other people who want to play competitively against you. So the first one that we used to play is Game Battles, and Game Battles is just like not for money. It's just where people who have a certain standard will go, or anyone can sign up. But when you start playing against people, it like matches you against skill level, and you gain or lose points depending on whether you win. Then there's a step up from that. Although they also do tournaments in there, so you can pay to enter tournaments, and then the winner takes the money. The step up from that is like CMG or UMG, which are two other like paid sites where you pay every game. You can do anything from like $1 up to $1 million if you wanted to on a game.
Just a straight up bet.
Yeah, against the other team. Yeah.
Okay.
So we used to play Call of Duty, and the main like competitive game type on that was Search and Destroy. So you play like. You tell them how many people are on your team, essentially, and then you put how much money out you want to play for, and then people accept that game and they bet the same amount, and the winner takes all. Well, the website takes a commission of like 3% or 4%. And
what
then
are you betting with? Are you betting with money? Bitcoin?
No, US dollar. You can do it with crypto, yeah. But we just do it with dollars. So you just preload your account from PayPal or whatever, and they take it into an escrow and then basically pay you out from the escrow. Is basically how that works. And then for like tournaments, so Warzone, for example, it's mainly kill race, which is like where you and your team get 1 point a kill. And then if you finish in the top 10, this is the normal format. It's not exactly like this every tournament, but like you get 1 point finished in 10th, 2 finished in 9th, 8th, exact extra point for each one. And then up to first. But you get like, if you finish in the top 5, it jumps up like 2 or 3 points at a time, if you know what I mean. So if you win and then get kills, that's how they work that out. So for that, what you do is have 3 hours and then submit your best 3 games from those 3 hours, and you've got to be streaming so they can and show them like your timestamps on your stream for each game. And then it's the accumulation of the points, and whoever wins out of everyone who enters. So I think I've just rambled on for ages, but that's basically how it works. Yeah. So we've won a few of those.
That's wild. I always wondered how people got into that. So, all right. So you've moved around a bit. You come back to where you're at now. Do you have any pets, and do you have any hobbies? Like what's kind of the personal side of things look like?
Sure. So pets, I've got a cat and a dog. And
what kind of dog?
A girlfriend. No, not really. I do have a girlfriend. She's sitting on the bed over there, so at least she say that she's doing some work on the bed over there. So I did that for reaction. But yeah, I have a cat and a dog. And in terms of hobbies, obviously gaming. Play poker when we're not locked down. I play poker. I boxing, and I go to the gym, and I play soccer. I was supposed to be soccer training today, but that's why, because we were going to do this 3 hours before. And I was going to go soccer training at 12 o'clock, or football training, but I had to push it. I had to push it back to speed. I had to push you back to speed to go training, but then I didn't even get up in time because I was celebrating last night. So,
are you calling it soccer just for me, or do you actually call it soccer?
No, we call it football. I'm calling it soccer for you.
The reason I said that to him is because when we were messaging back and forth, he told me that him and his girlfriend were on vacation, and I looked at it, and I was actually talking to my wife at the time, and I was like, he's from the UK, and he just said vacation. Like, I've got to ask him about this, because I would have thought he would have said holiday, right? And and Will said, yeah, I was just saying that for you to make sure you knew what I was talking
about. Yeah, that's it.
That's
so yeah.
So
what about you then? I want to know a bit about you. So what do you do? Give me a bit of background.
I own a contracting company. I'm from Columbus, Ohio. So over here in the Eastern Standard Time Zone in the States. I again, I talk about this pretty openly. I'm in recovery. I had a really just awful experience with drugs and alcohol when I was younger. And I thought that I was just partying with my friends and having fun. And it just absolutely just was different for me. And it took off in such a way that like I couldn't stop it, you know? And so I learned a lot from that. I burnt a lot of bridges when I was younger. I made a lot of terrible decisions, got into a lot of trouble, just a totally different person than you're talking to today, right? And it wasn't even that I was a different person. It was just that there was something in my life that was controlling what I was doing on a daily basis. And it was just rough and it sucked and it was no fun. Right. And so fast forward, I finally decided, like, listen, I got into some trouble and I decided, like, I cannot live like this anymore. And I ended up getting married. I've got a wife. I just had my first baby. So she's 4 weeks old today.
Congratulations, man!
Thank you. That's a whole new experience all of its own. I always wanted to be a dad, and now I'm experiencing it. So that's freaking crazy. It's awesome. And I own a contracting company. So I've got 3 sisters. 2 of my 3 sisters live here. One of my sisters lives out of state. My parents live 5 minutes down the road. My two of my sisters live 5 minutes down the road. They've got a bunch of kids. I joke with them and tell them that they have litters of children. They don't just have kids. They've got 4 kids. Yeah. I started a contracting company, a construction company about 4 years ago. And it started off just, I didn't want to work for somebody else anymore. I was tired. Now at the time, that's when I got into crypto too. So about 4 years ago. So I didn't want to work for somebody else anymore. And I just couldn't really find what it was I wanted to do. And I noticed, it was kind of weird how it happened, but basically I noticed that the construction world, the contracting world, like, we got burnt by a contractor in town. And I was like, this is BS. Like, I'm not going to, like, this is terrible. And I just got a really bad taste in my mouth. And I was like, you know what? I could do so much better. And when I started, I thought that I was just going to do what we call subbing out work, where it's like, I own the company, but I have other people just do the work for me. And I realized real quickly that there was a lot of people that suck in this industry, and I couldn't trust people. And I have my name on it. I know everybody in town, right? Everybody knows me. So I started doing work on my own. And to make a long story short, I went from doing work on my own to running a multi-million-dollar company in 4 years. And so it's been wild. It's been such a huge blessing. Just bought a new house, and we're doing really well. And part of that has been putting proceeds into crypto. So
Awesome.
because I'm about to ask you this, so I'll give you a little preview. To get to why I got into TikTok. My wife absolutely loves TikTok. She consumes it, right? I liked it a lot, but I thought it was just for kids, and I didn't like the girls shaking their butt and all of that, right? And I had joked with my wife, because she likes TikTok so much. I said, listen, I'm going to make a TikTok channel on crypto, since you don't want to talk to me about crypto. It's going to blow up, and I'm probably going to need to get campaign funding together, because I'm going to end up running for president. Just, being ridiculous, right? And I think it was the first video that I made since when I said that to her. Crypto Wendio had mentioned me in a video, and literally that night, like an hour after the video, and I'm laying in bed, and my phone is just alert, follower, and I'm like, what the heck is this? And then I looked at it, and I found, at any event, it just kind of took off kind of quick, I guess,
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a great story. I like that a lot.
Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at. And then with the interviews, and I want to get back into you, but the interviews, I just know that, like, I had heard from people that they thought that the creators, as they get more followers, that they become out of touch. That's what people were saying to me. But what I noticed was I was like I had started talking to Blockchain Boy, to Crypto Brandon, to Wendy, and some of these creators, and I didn't get that impression at all. And I was like, you know what? Let's let them tell who they are. Why do we want to, like, just make the assumption we know? So that's kind of where I'm at. How'd you get into TikTok and just social media as a whole? What's your social media look like?
Well, obviously I streamed gaming. So that's probably where. Other than that, though, personally, I don't use social media really. I've got a personal Instagram. I've got Facebook from when I was at school, but we don't really use it. I don't really post on Instagram very often. Only when I was traveling, more of a way to keep my memories, but also show people back home like where I've been, like that sort of thing. So and had to keep like saying to everyone, I'm here now. But I don't really post on there either. And then I'll start my crypto journey and going to TikTok. So my crypto journey started in about 2016, 2017, somewhere around there. It's always hard to remember what year, but it was before the 2017 bull run because I remember participating in that, but with just low capital. Yeah. I just bought Bitcoin just because I'm a gaming geek and everyone was talking about it in forums and stuff. And like I just looked into the tech and I thought it was pretty cool. Didn't even really know about any other crypto because people only really used to talk about Bitcoin and so we talked about Bitcoin and what it could do. We used to send each other like little bits of Bitcoin. Like when we played some competitive games, we could do that with Bitcoin. But it was more when we just played between groups of friends that we would do that rather than like against the random people. Yeah. So I didn't have loads though, just a few £100 worth. Like it wasn't really for the money. It was just like a cool thing that we thought was just cool or whatever. I also experimented on some early exchanges then because we started to learn there was other cryptos out there. I didn't really look into them. I just played. I was not financially incentivized at all. Like I just wanted to look around what was happening, how you did it. Like that's the sort of person I am. Like I just want to know how you do it rather than like anything else. Like I was like, okay, I need to learn. I need to know how to do that. Like it wasn't really like anything other than that. Made some money in the bull run. Cashed out my initial investment, and then it went down to like whatever it went down to. Like almost less than what it was at this. Like less than what it was at the start, but I'd already cashed out my initial investment, but I still learned a lot of lessons because I was working part-time and I probably had £200 or £300 in there. Let's say 300 Great British pounds is like $400 or whatever it is, $380. So it's not like, for me, it was a lot of the time, but it isn't really anything. I wasn't investing in anything that made me massive money or whatever. So like a week's wages at the time. And it went up to like, maybe made like £2,000 off it, and I was like, okay, this is pretty weird. Like I didn't really keep too much of an eye on the price or anything. Took out my initial 300, and I was like, I'm just going to leave it and see what happens. And then it probably went back down to, after I'd already taken my investment out, probably like 200. Like so, I made about £200 profit. And I just never took it out. I was like, okay, well, like this crypto thing is pretty cool, but is it going to go anywhere? As much speculative as anyone else. Like I thought the tech was cool, but I didn't really believe in it as a financial instrument. And then obviously went traveling, like we've talked about. This is all like in between that, because when I was working part-time, I was saving to go traveling. At that time I was playing competitive gaming for money, and that helped. And then it got to maybe October last year, September, and a lot more hype. I started to see a hype again, like on forums, on Twitter, about crypto. And I was like, okay, like I remember what happened in the last bull run. Now I've got some capital behind me from my company. And I started like looking into, I've been trading Forex actually. Really? I've been trading Forex for about a year at this point, just part-time, just because I like maths. Like I said, like poker, when I was younger, I used to play a lot of chess. Like I'm quite like a mathsy guy.
I'm the same way. I'm the same way. Super into math. Yeah.
So that's how it all started for me. So like, actually, so before COVID, I was playing like semi-pro poker as well. So I made like a bit of money playing poker. So I had some capital behind me and like maths, started learning charting. I couldn't spend all my time on it. But then my business, like when COVID came, started to take a dive in terms of, because I supply retailers and all the shops closed. So I was like, well, what am I going to do? And so I just started looking into charts more full time and trading full time, but I wasn't making loads. I wasn't losing anything, but I wasn't making anything. I was probably making like £1,000 a month, like nothing, like it's nothing to just like stub your nose at, but it's nothing, like wasn't enough for a salary, you know?
Right.
But I had my capital from my company. I didn't know what to do next. What was my next step? I wanted to go traveling again. Didn't want to buy a house. I don't know what to do. And so I just took my capital, what I had, and just basically from one thing led to another, and I started putting it into crypto. Diversified portfolio, probably like a basket of 15 currencies, cryptos from the top 100, and they all did different things. And I was more weighted towards XRP. I'd say 20% of my portfolio to 25% was XRP, with maybe about the same in Ethereum, and then the rest spread around the rest of the cryptos. I didn't hold any Bitcoin then. I didn't hold any Bitcoin. And then, yeah, it was just like, okay, well, I know a lot about this, and I saw a lot of people talking about it, and I was like, okay, I'm just going to talk on TikTok and put a few videos out on TikTok. I know a decent amount about charting, but I probably know more about cryptocurrency, so I may as well just post a few videos out. And then, as I said, I was streaming and stuff and gaming, and then videos didn't really get that many views, even though I knew like I was in the top few percent in the world, like playing Warzone. My videos didn't get many views. I posted like one TikTok out about cryptocurrency and got like more views than I have had in any Warzone video. And I was like, this is weird. And then so I did it again, and then more views. And like obviously you go up and down like this for your views. And I was like, okay, so it's still pretty weird. Like my average views are like way higher. And then it just snowballed from there essentially.
Yeah.
That's where all of it's come from.
So what is your ultimate, so I guess right now, are you full-time trading, and whether you are or whether you aren't, like what's your goal moving forward with your channel and what you're actually doing?
Okay, so am I full-time trading? I'm full-time whatever this is. Like I'm full-time. I have been for probably a month and a half, maybe 2 months.
Okay.
I got offered when I made the decision to go full-time, I had like a bit of a crossroads, because out of nowhere, like a university or like a college in the next like town along offered me a position to be a lecturer in esports. So like to teach a new curriculum that was coming out in esports, so like gaming. And that's like obviously a perfect career for me. And at the time I had about 10,000 followers, with still a lot of my savings in crypto, all of it. And I was like, well, what do I do here? I was in a real big crossroads. I was lucky that my dad owns a company, and I was just doing like 1 or 2 days a week for him for cash, like just some money.
Yeah.
So I didn't have any financial pressure, like on my decision making. I don't have a mortgage. I don't have people depending on me. So I was like, let's just do it. And I took crypto full time. And just started like making content more. Well, I was doing loads of research anyway. I probably do like now like 10 to 12 hours a day, even if it's not just content, that's like research and that sort of stuff. Even on the weekends, I still do it, but I probably do less on the weekends now, like 4 hours or so. But yeah, so that's basically what happened. Get like sponsored vids now, obviously.
Talk to me about that real quick.
Sure.
So I'm just about to be at 10,000 followers, and this last month or whatever this happened, which is great. I got approached for my first sponsored video, and I just dove deep into what it was and was like, no, not happening. Because I'm all about 100%. Like I'm here for you guys, and I want to be just true to myself. And if I wouldn't invest, then I'm not, what do you do for that? How do you vet these projects out?
Sure. So this is a discussion that I've been having with my family and stuff recently. And I first had, when I was probably in your position, when I got my first sponsorship offer.
Yeah.
And we talked about it, and we were like, well, what I want to do, the reason I started doing TikTok is to help people. I don't want to promote anything that I don't like. And so the way I get loads now, I'm not saying that as like being like not trying to brag. I honestly get probably like 2 or 3 a day, and I presume every other creator does. And I'm in a position where I kind of need a PA soon, because it's hard to stay on top of my replies on TikTok, do all my social media, vet through all my sponsorship. I probably miss a few that would be good, but I don't try and do too many a week either. I just try and do 1 a week just for cash for me, because the way I look at it now myself is, am I going to provide people better content and value if I spend all my time researching and delivering content, and one of those content videos a week as a sponsor? Or will they get more value from me if I do something else to bring in money and then do TikTok on the side. So that's the way I justify it to myself.
Right.
And I have to obviously have some kind of salary. So
yeah,
I do definitely miss good opportunities because I don't have time to look through them all. And a lot of the time there is a lot of negotiating that goes into it, because I say to them, they say this is what they want in their video. I'm like, I'm telling my followers it's going to be a sponsored video, all this. And they're like, oh, I don't need to do that. And it's like, well, I can't work with you. Those sorts of things. But it's quite a long process, because sometimes they don't let you know that until they're way later down the line. So it's kind of like a waste of time for both of us, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, so in terms of your position, if you wanted the capital or whatever, and you find a project that you like, one thing that I would say to give you an idea for like pricing of what you should charge for your videos, I think it's quite good that everyone in the chat knows this, because I think that they think that we're really rich and we make loads of money. It's like we don't. If you think about Facebook ads, for example, you pay like 5p an impression on Facebook. So that'd be, even if someone just swiped past your video, if you're paying Facebook ads, that's like 5p. So if you think of every one of your, or 5 cents, let's see if you think of like every follower you've got as an impression, but then you know that not every time you post a video out, all your followers watch it. So just work on the basis of like an impression, like it's 5 cents, maybe minus 50%. And that's the sort of like ballpark that you should be getting paid if you wanted to do a sponsored video. So if people in the chat wanted to work out like how much you're getting paid a video, then that's a good way to work it out.
That's a pretty good way of doing it. Sure. Just divide it by the number of followers that you have or whatever, and then as that grows, that number whatever gets cool.
Yeah, of course. But then like if you like the project, so like I did one with Huobi, and then they said, oh, I'll do a few videos for you. And I think the project, it's the second biggest exchange in the world. Like I'm not pushing it on anyone, I'm just promoting it in the way that like they are offering loads of good offers for people in the EU, because they're trying to expand from Asia to EU and Europe and Great Britain. So like for them, I did like a 2-part offer with them for a little bit less than what I would normally charge, because it's an easy thing to promote in terms of people are already using exchanges, so it's not too much different. They offer most things that everyone else offers anyway. So so I take some of the things into consideration when I look for pricing as well. So
okay, no, that's good to know. I like the fact that you're open about it. I think sometimes people think exactly what you're saying, that like that we as creators are out to just absolutely shill anything and everything we can. Like the reality is, guys, and I just want to touch on this, if Will was doing that, or if I was doing that, I think it would shine like a freaking star in the sky, right? And for 2, like, you're going to stop watching. We're going to lose followers from that, which then negates the ability to even do that. It doesn't make sense. Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? So how did you, and I know this is what everybody's looking for from you. You already know what's coming. How did you get into XRP? How did that, because ultimately you would say that XRP is your favorite of cryptocurrencies, I'm guessing?
Yeah, so now like I'm open with my followers, because, and I will be when I take profits, and I will take profits at some point. I've got to take profit targets. But like I'd say now XRP is like 85-90% of my crypto bag at the minute. And that's because when I started in October, I had take profit targets for things like Ethereum, like Solana, VE Chain, all these cryptos that I've got in my part of my basket. They just hit their profit targets before XRP did. So what I said to myself is that I already know from previous bull runs and the research that I've done that XRP in the last 2 bull runs has moved last. So my initial plan was, we'll make extra percentages and cycle that into XRP. So you basically timed in 1% by the other, rather than just like holding percentage and taking the cash out. Because I know that I want to be in crypto long term anyway. So that's the way that I like work the percent. So I always work on percentage return on investment, like whatever's best for me long term. So let's say I made 400% on Ethereum, and I slowly drip fed that across into XRP when it starts to hit different take profit targets. So it puts me like 80-90% on XRP at the minute. And how did I get into it in the first place? A lot of different things. I don't know, like in the last 9 months of my life, like I started to believe that a lot of things happen for a reason. And a few things in my past have pushed me towards XRP. So I went to a house party once in like 2018, 2019, when I was just holding Bitcoin, and a guy at the house party. So obviously crypto was no one really talked about it then. Everyone who talked about it thought
Right.
you were a geek or whatever. He was also a gamer, and he
Yeah.
sat with me for an hour and a half, and he just like pushed XRP down my throat, and I was like, "This guy's crazy, man! Like, this guy's crazy." But then like a year later or whatever, I heard more about it, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I remember that guy talking to me about that for ages." Didn't really think too much about it. Started like looking into it. I was like, okay. And then I also realized that if you talk about it online, everyone hates it, and I'm like, well, there's got to be a reason for this. Like, what's going on? What's going on here? Like, are they hating it because it's crap, or are they hating it because they're scared of it, or are they hating it for what reason? That's what I was trying to work out.
Yeah.
And then I worked out to myself that I don't think it's crap personally, and I think that some people are scared of it, which makes it a more high potential of return on investment for me, because I think it's probably undervalued to what it should be valued. If it had fair value, I think it's undervalued, especially at the time that I bought it. So I was like, they're all my contributing factors. And then just the same with any crypto, I think when you first start your crypto journey, if you understand the technology, like I understand how Bitcoin works, you kind of like go off the back of Bitcoin with whatever you invest in to start with, and then you look at a more deeper dive. You start to learn more about it every day, more about what they're doing, more about the way the tech works, the partnerships. So for XRP, the lawsuit, and then I was like, started posting videos more about XRP because I had a decent holding in it, and I found that they got the most interactions on TikTok. So I was like, well, I'll just do more research into XRP, and then it's just a constant cycle of more views, more research, more content, and then boom, 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 the same again, you know?
Yeah, so I want to say something that I thought was really interesting, because when I first started this, one of the videos that I made that I think has the most views of any of my videos, I openly joke about, I give one of the creators a hard time about his $50,000 XRP prediction, right? And here, let me just clear the air for all of you wondering. First of all, I hold a fat bag of XRP, right? And I'm not getting rid of it. I literally have consolidated down from, I had 23 assets 6 days ago down to 4, because I do not do, I took profits. Now, listen, guys, I wasn't like losing money and in panic selling. I was actually taking profits. I've been in this for a long time. Like I was set up to do what I was going to do. And right now there's so much question in the market. But the one thing that I didn't sell, and I'm actually looking, I've got a 50-cent target again. My average in XRP is literally 30 cents. And so that's my average. And I have been buying. Most of my XRP I bought between 12 and 17 cents. So if that tells you anything, I've got quite a bit. And I got into it at first, actually, because my pastor at my church was telling me that, he's like, man, Nick, you're so into crypto. How are you not into XRP? You need to check this out. And I said, I don't know, man. It's a banker's coin, just the normal whatever. And so I ended up buying some up, and then once I never like got deep into it, but I always did believe one thing. I believe that you believe, right? And so what I mean by that is XRP has the most loyal and faithful, to the point where they will fight you, right, over talking trash about their project, right? And I always thought that was really interesting, because I was like, wow, people that are that into their thing are not going to panic sell. These people are not going. So I looked at it and said, wow, when they do win this lawsuit, which I think that they're going to, when they win this lawsuit, this is going to rip. And I think it's going to go nuts, and I think I'm going to make a ton of money off of it. So the main reason I hold it at this point is for exposure. I do have a couple questions for you about it. So my question is, why? Okay, so what are your thoughts on? Okay, so people were asking this morning before you got on. They're asking about the JPM coin, right? About JP Morgan setting up their own blockchain, yada yada yada. Okay, so why, first of all, like, what are your thoughts on, are people going to be, why would these banks not just straight up just compete with XRP and say, okay, listen, it's open source code, I'm going to just use it and see ya, have a good day?
Sure. Like, it's a speculator's market, and I understand where that argument could come from. Let's just start with that. If you think that JP Morgan coin is good for the crypto space in terms of yes, it goes against decentralization, as does XRP, goes against decentralization, as does XRP, etc. But what it does allow is for the safety and ease of mind for the people who are their customers. They're going to be like, oh, well, our biggest bank or one of the biggest banks in America, I don't know how big they are, and now got their own crypto. What the way they'll look at it, they've got a crypto coin, so it must be something, cryptocurrency. There's going to be a lot of people sitting on the sideline who are going to think that. So overall, I think the JPM coin is good for the crypto space in terms of growth.
It's going to get, I agree with you. It's going to get
exposure.
Your freaking grandma involved, right? It's
That's exactly the point I'm trying to make.
My bank told me that I needed to do this, right? And it introduces them. Yeah, continue.
That's my point. That's my point on JP Morgan's coin. Secondly, it's a stable coin from what I understand. And it is, I know XRP, you could say, is centralized in the terms that Ripple control the escrow, have a massive percentage hold, and all of those points. But why do I not think that JP Morgan coin is competition to Ripple? It's because in 2018, the World Economic Forum already talked about both JP Morgan and Ripple being able to solve cross-border payments or contribute to the market should that arise, like speculation, obviously. But is the institutional or Communist Bank of China or whatever the top Chinese bank going to use JPM coin? Personally, I don't think so. Is a banks in Russia going to want to use JPM coin for cross-border payment? I don't think so. Would they want to use Ripple or XRP? I don't know, but I know for sure that they won't. They don't. You guys don't get on. Just the same way that, I don't know, let's say the Bank of England, who have been a paid Ripple customer since 2018, would they just instantly use JPM coin because they've released a coin? Why? What's the reason to say that they would? That's my argument for it.
So more what, and this actually makes sense to me too. So I wasn't thinking at all that JPM coin was going to be a competitor. I've heard people ask, but I wasn't thinking that at all. But I think this is a cool thought, and I hadn't thought about this before. What if XRP is the decentralization point for the banks, right? You have all of these banks that are saying, hey, we need to transfer money, but I don't really want to have to go to JP Morgan.
There you go.
That's right? And then what if that's that mid-ground there where everybody says, okay, we have a system that works, it will transact, but then we are all not tied directly to a specific bank. We can go to whatever bank we want and not have to hold 8 million freaking assets to move the money around.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. And then one of the things that I think that JP Morgan are kind of overlooking, because what I think is happening is, and I get why they're doing it, hedge funds are like, well, we know that they need to make a certain percentage a year, that they want to make a certain percentage a year. We know that the volatility is in cryptocurrency at the minute, and they might have a risk ratio of being able to put 2% into cryptocurrency, but they need to get a 20% return from somewhere, whether that's crypto, gold, or whatever. But we know the volatility is there in crypto at the minute. Right. And so they're all rushing to get involved. Whatever they can do, we'll get involved. This is what hedge funds do, and it's the way the world works. So when tech companies came out, the hedge funds go around and just buy everything. Because they don't need to be first to the race, they buy everything. But I think they're like, oh crap, with crypto, we might be late. We thought it was a speculative asset. Well, it is a speculative asset, but it's less speculative now. It's on companies' balance sheets and countries are adopting it as legal tender. So we need to do something. Yeah. And they've rushed out and they've seen what Circle are doing. I presume they talked to Jeremy Allaire or whatever. And they're like, okay, how do you make money with this? A stable coin sounds cool. Sounds like a good idea. Pretty risk-free. We'll back it 1-to-1 with dollars and we'll create our own stable coin. So they've gone out and done that. But then what I think people are overlooking is, even with Facebook DM, but they've already talked about this before. The US are going to come out with a stable coin soon, and it's going to be called a CBDC, US digital dollar. So where's your stable coin going to be then? You reckon that the US are going to allow JPM coin to be 1-to-1 tied to the US digital dollar when they could just use the US digital dollar? I personally don't think so. So I think that it will be out for a bit, and I think it will be good because I think that from what I've heard, the US aren't against private innovation in terms of digital dollar. So what I think might happen is they might take information from people like Facebook DM when they release their stable coin, because theirs is also a stable coin. They might take information from JPM coin and they might have some kind of collaboration, but I also think that they'll either go away or they're going to amalgamate into one digital dollar, because they can't all coexist easily, because otherwise you're going to take away from the sovereignty of the digital dollar anyway when that gets released. So there's my thought process on that long term. I think a lot of people jump onto the bandwagon and say, and see a headline and say, oh God, JPM will come out with a coin, it's going to be the game over for crypto. I don't think that's something to think at all. I actually think it brings a lot of capital into the space personally. That's all my personal opinion on it, just trying to connect my own dots.
I actually
couldn't
agree with you more about it being good for the market. I think that there's so many people. I'll give you an example. So my dad is a really intelligent man. He's an attorney. He owns a pretty successful business. And when I first started talking to him about crypto, and he's super smart guy. It was this look. You know what I mean? It was like, listen, son, do we need to drug test you again or what? You know what I mean? Like what is he talking about, right? And I'll be honest with you, when the idea of crypto first came around, it was a very, like, even after being in it for a while, some of the things that you have to do to make transactions happen are very interesting, to say the least, right? Doing the idea of trading pairs, the idea of paying gas fees and how that works. I mean, there is a lot of high level thinking type things that happen in crypto. So I think that the nice thing about these banks finally, so, okay, let me back up. I think that the reason that the country put so much FUD out on the whole market, I think the reason that the banks compared XRP and other assets to rat poison is because they weren't prepared for the amount of actual acceptance that has happened and how quick it has happened. And there's a saying that I know you know, that when the retail trader misses the boat, they just miss the boat. When the institution misses the boat, they bring the boat back. And so what I think that's going on right now as we speak, this massive correction, I do think that it's manipulated, and I do think the boat's being brought back, right? And so I always try to stress to people right now that, hey, look, if you believe, because I'm a long-term investor, like I'm looking at this as, I'm looking at, hey, how are things going to look in 2030, 2040, right? I'm looking at this as a financial freedom for my family long-term and for my daughter, and if I have more kids, whatever. And I think so many people look at it so short-sighted, and guys, that's just not what it, there's no get-rich-quick scheme. You might get freaking lucky. You might buy an asset at freaking 17 cents, and it might rip to freaking $20, and you bought at the exact right time, and you put in exactly. But listen, that's just like buying a lottery ticket. You got lucky, right? And that's not bad. But I think at the end of the day, there's so much innovation in the space that all of the government and that these banks are scared of, that they need to be able to get ready. And I think right now, this stall with Ripple in particular, I think this is 100% a stall tactic. I think you and I and a lot of people believe that it's not just like me wanting Ripple to win this case. It's looking very favorable, right? And the reason that things are getting drug out, I believe, is because they are trying to position, they are trying to jockey to get themselves ready for what's about to happen. I don't have to believe that XRP is going to some $589 or whatever the number is. I don't have to believe that. But what I do believe is that it has a utility. It's got a project behind it. And the reality is, guys, if you look at every single company that you maybe have ever invested in the stock market, or whether you have invested or not, these companies that you support, that you buy from, if you look deep down into what they do, there's a lot of things that they do that you don't like either. So the idea that 1 billion, coins are coming back onto the market at, I think it's monthly. I think that's the number. The idea that Jed McCaleb is dumping his, I mean, listen, guys, you don't have to like everything.
So with the escrow, them billion coins don't go onto the market. They actually get released to Ripple, and then they decide what they're going to do with that. And they actually mainly use that for like slippages.
Okay.
Yeah, so they get released to Ripple. So they get 1 billion a month that's cryptographically locked. So there's 50 billion-ish in the escrow at the minute. And 1 billion a month go to Ripple. And Ripple use that for one of two things. They either use it to cover slippages that have happened over the month, because they need to incentivize banks to use it at the minute anyway. So that's one thing they use it for. And the other thing that they use that for is to incentivize new customers. And this is where a lot of people don't like Ripple. And this is why they've been kind of one of the reasons why they're seen as security, because it's a non-cash agreement and an incentive for people to use their network, basically. So they'll go to a bank, right, we'll give you 100 million XRP to see how it works and to see how much money we can save you, essentially. But they often, it doesn't all come into the market either, because they often, so when you see whale alert that's like $1 billion out and then 900 million back in, it's because when whatever they don't use, they then lock back up, and then they can't use that again for 2 more years. So that in 2 years' time, that'll come back out again. So it's not like there's not just like a liquid billion XRP being every month just dumped on the market. They don't really sell it either. Like it's more just to incentivize more customers, because their end game is everyone uses XRP, and then the asset that the execs obviously own, just the same way as like Jeff Bezos probably owns still 10% of Amazon shares. He wants to grow Amazon as big as it can be. They want to grow XRP as big as it can be. That's why they're kind of saying, is it a security? Is it not? Do you know what I mean? They are a third party working towards the increase of the price of the asset, but they don't technically own it. So that's where the issue. That's where this is why that discussion is going on.
That is so, guys. To even clarify a little farther, my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, Will, is that the reason that they're pushing so hard against XRP and saying, hey, this is a security, is because there's a third party, right? That is actually like promoting essentially the asset. And with Ethereum, right? Ethereum and Bitcoin have both been declared not securities. And part of that is they're saying, hey, listen, this is decentralized in nature. There is not someone, a bank or a company or whatever that is just straight up promoting this for use. And isn't that why? I mean, mainly they're really trying to fight.
Yeah, kind of yes and no. This is where it gets really complicated, is because Vitalik Buterin, even there's a clip of him saying that he based his funding model on what Ripple have done. So they're trying to say that it's not decentralized, there's no third party, but you could argue that Vitalik Buterin is a third party promoting that for fundraising. The other difference is you've got between Ripple and other ICOs, which is where they're basically looking at securities, let's say EOS, because they were fined by the SEC and they settled, and like they were fined for like, I can't remember the stats off the top of my head, but let's say 300 million. They paid 3 million in a fine, and that was settled. But the differences between Ripple and other ICOs is when the other ICOs happen, it's normally they sell the coins in order to get some money together, so then they can build the ledger, which is what the white paper is talking about. But the difference is with Ripple is the ledger was already there. The coins were then gifted to them by OpenCoin. So you're not essentially buying a sec, or like it's not tied to the ledger, because ledger was already there, and these were gifted coins. So it's like, well, we haven't used that to raise money to build a ledger. So that's where it gets complicated.
Okay. No, that's good. I love talking to somebody this is one of the things when I would listen to you. I'm like, he is truly, you can tell when somebody has truly researched something, when somebody is just regurgitating something that they've heard, right? And so let me ask you this then. 2 things, and the chat's asking me this too. So let me just ask you 2 things about XRP. First thing, talk to me about the Flare network. Talk to me about this airdrop, and then the second thing after that, tell me what you actually see as the outcome of this case, and if you have a price prediction long term, like what you're thinking.
Okay, cool. Can you give me 1 second? I'm desperate for a way to get my water up.
Dude, do you
think? Desperate just to pop to the toilet. Give me 1 second, guys. Chat me back in 1 second.
Do you think? All right, so he's gonna run out real quick, grab a drink. We've got obviously a long chat going on here, guys. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this. I really like Will. I feel like he's got a square head on his shoulders. So thank you. If you guys aren't following me, if you're not following Will, Crypto Insight UK, shoot us a follow. You can also click on my actual name, and you can turn on the bell notifications. If you guys really like the interviews, if you guys really like just some of the content that I do on a regular basis, make sure that you put those bell notifications on. It'll shoot you a little message and say, hey, the Crypto Keeper is on, and and you can get involved. Guys, I am going to thank you very much for the love, for the roses and the mics and all that stuff, guys. I really appreciate it. I am going to answer some questions at the end, or Will is going to answer some questions at the end. I just want to finish getting through finishing getting to know him and his thoughts on XRP and just kind of as a whole what's going on. So we will address those. And we'll get to it. So what's up from Cleveland? Yeah, I see you. So I really hope that that I hate Venio. I hope that you're joking, because that would be sad. So I just hope that that's not I hope that you didn't do that. So I don't follow Doge, guys. Doge is I put $11 in a long time ago at 0.002. I sold at 22 cents. I made $1,100. I made 100x on it and got out. I just don't do the pump coins. I don't trust the nature of them. I don't do the meme coins. It's just not my thing. I like projects that have an actual use case, that have something fundamentally backing them up, and so that's just not my thing. So you won't ever hear me talking about pump coins or meme coins. So just kind of so we're on the same page. Okay, so guys, Will's back. So Flare Network, right? And talk to me about that, how the airdrop's going to work, and then talk to me about kind of long-term, short-term with
price
the case,
prediction,
and then long-term
sure.
XRP. Yeah.
Okay, so just before that, have you seen my interview with Raoul Pal that I did on YouTube?
No,
my podcast.
I haven't seen that. No,
do you know
I would love to have seen that. I've not seen. I know who it is. Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so he obviously writes Global Macro Investor, and Global Macro Investor goes out to hedge funds, sovereign funds, banks, those sort of things. So he predicts global macro trends, and is successful at doing so. Some of his clients on like The Big Short, that sort of thing. So maybe check that out. It's on my YouTube, my first podcast episode. But basically,
yeah, I will.
My whole life's been going like mad at the minute. Okay, one of the reasons I was celebrating last night, which is what I was saying, is so obviously I've interviewed him, my podcast. He's my hero. He's my investing hero.
That's awesome.
Don't know how I managed to get him on my podcast. He's obviously huge in the financial world.
Yeah.
And then we talk a bit, and he knows a bit about XRP. But at the end of the interview, he's like, "Oh," I said to him, "Is there anything I can do for you?" And he said, "I want to know your thoughts on XRP." And I said, "Okay, do you know what? Like, kind of as a joke, to be fair, I was like, I'll write you an article on XRP and tell you everything I think about it, what I know about it, including FUD, how the tech works, price predictions, short-term, medium, long-term, charts, analysis, Flare Networks, put 3 pages in there, Flare Networks." And he liked it so much that he told me it's going to be published to Global Macro Investor on Monday.
Really?
So, yeah.
Dude, congratulations, man. That's freaking awesome. That's awesome.
Thank you. So that I just wanted to say that I'm going to make some price predictions now, and that I'll talk to you about, and their price predictions that Raoul Powell's read and obviously likes enough to be sending it into her sovereign wealth funds, hedge funds, and banks. So I know
that's huge.
So there is definitely a lot of just give me validation on that. What I think isn't just speculation, isn't just wild speculation. Obviously, I know that from my charting and stuff, but to get validated by someone in the financial industry like that is makes me know that I'm on the right lines with what I'm holding, you know?
Yeah, no doubt. That's awesome. So, congrats, man.
Thank you. So on Monday, that's why I was celebrating last night, and that's why I'm this morning didn't go to soccer training, didn't go to football training, just came straight on here. I literally only just had breakfast.
Had a few too many beverages.
Yeah, that's it. So we're going to talk about Flare Networks first. The project's I think it's going to be a huge, if they can, right. So one thing I always personally have a bit of an issue with before any crypto's out is speculation, because you never know how anything's going to act until it's out and we see it in real world use cases, have a play with it. But I think Flare Networks will be a massive disruptor in the space, because it's just trying to bring, and this is one of the lines that I actually coined on my article, was that imagine the brain of Ethereum with the speed, scalability, and transaction costs of XRP. So that's how I link them together in my article. So that's basically what Flare Networks is going to be. Anything from DeFi, decentralized applications, but just all run on the XRP ledger. So Ripple are an initial investor in Flare Network, initial seed investor, is that what they're called, where they put some of the initial money in.
Yeah.
But they have no contractual agreement with Flare to say you need to build in the XRP ledger or anything like that. Flare just chose to build in the XRP ledger because they think it's the best ledger in terms of speed and that sort of thing. So basically what Flare are doing is, making a decentralized platform for anyone to do anything with the speed of XRP. So when I say anyone to do anything, like as far as I'm aware, there isn't any other crypto out there that like brings all the ideas together. So they give smart contracts. You've got things like yield farming. You've got things like decentralized insurance like deals, like all those sort of things. So you can like pool liquidity for insurance and those like sort of things we haven't really seen before, but all on one network. At the same time as having a new consensus model, which is delegated votes with like a time series oracle, which is basically like where you can get your Spark token, even holding it in your hardware wallet, and you're basically voting for an aggregate of price. And if you're closest to the aggregate, then you get rewarded. So it's really tough to explain, but like you can do that. So you can have your basically, essentially, if you take it to a basic level, if we just try and explain it on a basic level, you can hold your Spark token when that comes out in your hardware wallet, still be delegating your votes because the blockchain knows that you're a holder of the Spark token, and still be rewarded if you're close to the aggregate. But you can give your vote to a company that will keep track of the aggregate, so you're more likely to get rewarded, and completely risk-free. So it's risk-free passive income that you can get with Spark token. And in terms of the airdrop, that was the 10th of December or 12th of December. If you're on a participating exchange, you don't really need to do anything particularly. But if you had it, you've missed your time now, but it's the 10th of June, I think, was the cutoff. If you had it on your wallet, you could manually just go on basically like on XRP, scan this a similar thing, and just say that you had it in your wallet at the time, and they'll airdrop you Spark token. And it's 15% on the month that it comes out, which the last we know of.
Well, my understanding was that we didn't have to do anything if we were holding on December 12th. It took a snapshot, and it's going to be dropping them into.
If it was on a participating exchange, depends where you were holding your XRP.
Yeah.
If you're holding on an exchange,
I was holding it on Coinbase at that point.
Yeah, that's cool because I moved because at the time, like I didn't know what the process would be, of how to claim it if it wasn't on an exchange. So I moved all mine off my hard wallet onto Coinbase just for the snapshot, moved it back to my hard wallet again, just so it was easier for me.
Yeah.
So I did the same thing with Coinbase as well.
For the people that are wondering, how is the airdrop actually going to work? Are they doing it in stages? Is it all at once? What's it working like?
Yeah, so it's 15% on the first month, which we don't know still when that's going to be. It was end of June plus or minus 2 weeks, but now I think it's 4 weeks that they've changed it to, the last I heard. And then it's 3% a month until you've got everything that you should be. And
it was a 1-to-1, correct?
Yeah, 1-to-1 Spark to XRP. Yeah, but what I would say is anyone who's interested in Flare Networks, definitely check it out on YouTube because the first month they're going to be heavily rewarding the initial users of the network because they're releasing 10% of their complete circulating supply to the initial adoption of the network. So if you start getting on there and you start with their yield farming, wrapping your XRP in your Spark token, mining your Spark token with Litecoin and stuff, you're going to be participating to take a lot more percentage-wise of the circulating supply that will be released for the rest of the time going forward. They're doing 10% of their whole circulating supply, which is 100 billion. So they're doing 10 billion in their first month. And then if that's not all out there, then they're going to burn the rest. So it's literally like a promotion for anyone to get involved straight away.
Yeah, that's nice. So what does that's a good explanation. Thank you. What does what does XRP look like short term versus long term? What are your thoughts on prices?
Sure. So for me, one of the reasons I hold a lot of XRP is because I feel like it's just a non-brainer investment in terms of all the catalysts short term, medium, and then wild cards long term. So short term, we've got, if we look at the list of catalysts of things that could explode the price of XRP, we've obviously got the lawsuit. Off the back of that, we've now heard of Ripple IPOing. Even if that people think that might not directly impact the price of XRP, it brings a lot more exposure to Ripple as a company. So I think it will directly impact that price. We've got relisting on exchanges. And we've got Japan, who are heavily involved in XRP with Yoshitaka Kitao, who obviously want Ripple to IPO, but they're also talking about using it in their FX markets. And then we've got the more wildcard situations of things like CBDCs being minted on the XRP ledger. So for the short-term price action, I think organically that if we start to see a market recovery, which I do think we will see, even if we see a smaller dip, I don't think we're going to dip too much further from where we are personally. If we see an organic market recovery to say like $1 to $2, well, irrelevant of that, I think that this is what I published in my article as well, is that I think that the lawsuit itself will bring a 300 to 400% increase on price. And that's not just plucked out of the sky. That's because both EOS and Kintoken, when they settled with the SEC, even though it was an unfavorable settlement for both of those, they both increased or rallied 400% or 300 to 400% in price on the end of that news. So if we're at $2 and we rally 300%, that takes us to 6 or 400% to 8. Plus then Ripple IPOing, and then if we get some clause in the settlement like Jeremy Hogan talked about, where there's where Ripple aren't allowed to sell XRP even to the exchanges, or the exchanges may run dry of XRP, we could get a supply squeeze, and then that could be then multiplied by 2 to 3 to 4 times. So they're hypothetical situations, of course, but then you've got the exchanges relisting, and the hype around that definitely brings a few 100% more. So what I'm looking at short to medium term is, from what the charts are showing me as well, is $10 to $13 on the Fibonacci retracement. I think is very, very realistic for where I think we could go after the lawsuit. And then depending on what happens with settlements, where the market's at, what's going on with Bitcoin, because I think that Bitcoin is going to lose a lot of dominance, but it depends how much of a market control it has at that point and how big its market cap is. I think we'll see like an alt season and alt rally. So depending on where that is, I think we could see maybe even higher prices up to $25 sort of dollars. I think top end we're looking at. But then you've got the more wildcard, situation of, are we going to see a utility bull run? Are we going to, at the minute, everything we're talking about and looking at is speculative. Like even if you say $2 billion worth is run on ODL of XRPs, like worth, it's just all speculation. That's no money in the grand scheme of things. It's nothing. If we start, and you could say that in terms of utility, XRP is doing the most of all cryptos at the minute. Yeah, you've got Ethereum doing what it's doing, but it isn't really affecting real world, like everyday life. And until we start to see cryptos affecting everyday life, I think you could say it's all speculation. So we're on a speculative bull run. So within that speculative time, I don't think we go much higher than $25. But when we start, if we can then start to see, unless we say that the UK or because we know the Bank of England works directly with XRP and has been, or we see the euro printed or minting their CBDC on the XRP-L, I think speculative price could go a lot higher, but they're more wild cards for me. But then if we see a utility bull run, then that's when I think we could really see some high numbers. But it's all that's all even more speculative for me.
Right.
I know for sure short term, my indicators are pointing towards $10 to $13, up to 25, and then anywhere after that, like even in my article, I've quoted all of this from 3 digits up to 35k. But that's a long way down the line, and everything in the world would have to be tokenized, including derivative stocks, the housing market, all have to be tokenized and traded on the XRP ledger, which I think is possible, but I don't think it's necessary. It's not a certainty. I never would say that, but it's a reason to never let go of all your XRP, because it's kind of like being in a raffle every month, and then there could be your ticket that comes out.
So let me ask you this, because that's a great analysis. I appreciate that. So what ultimately, and then I want to finish out on talking to you about just the crypto markets as a whole, and then I have a couple last questions for you. But why? And I actually talked in your chat about this one time, just briefly said something about it. But tell me why, when the idea of market cap gets brought up, why does market cap quote not matter? Which I know it does matter, but I'm saying, like, why will you hear that rebuttal? Tell me why that it's brought up.
And like market cap matters in the way of it is how you how you can put a figure on the circulating supply times by the value of that supply. That's why it matters. But in terms of if we talk about crypto in general, in terms of a growing asset class, you can't put a parameter of a market class on crypto in general, because if you could do that, then we would never expand as an asset class. So no money would ever flow into the space in order for us to expand as an asset class. Then if you're talking about real world utility and where we're going to use crypto in general, so like let's say XRP is trying to be a currency. That's what all the cryptos are trying to do, and essentially XRP is trying to be liquid enough so everything in the world can trade on its ledger all at the same time and not have any problems transacting from one place to another. So let's say America and China and Russia all try and send to each other bond yields or bonds that are worth whatever, then it's got to be able to go through. And that's why it could go up to that like huge market caps, because I understand where people say, yeah, but there's not enough money in the world for that. And it's like, well, that's you thinking about fiat currency, and we're talking about tokenizing the wealth of everything, like at some point. And I know that that's not going to happen overnight, or maybe it will. Like, who knows what the central banks will come out and say, look, we've really messed up, world debt's ridiculous, we're going to pile everything into a basket.
You're talking about tokenizing mortgages, you're talking about tokenizing auto notes, you're talking about like just, hey, everything gets tokenized. That's how you come to that. That's how you come to that.
Yeah, that's how it's possible, because it's not a market cap of like the amount of dollars that the US own. It's a market cap of what everything in the world is worth. Because one day, I don't think this is speculation either, one day everything will work that way, whether it's on XRP's ledger or whether it's whatever it is. We are developing our currency in a way. So at some point, we are just going to have people are already realizing that the blockchain, like, you can't edit it, you can't lie, everything's there. There's no point in doing it a different way because of the tech we've got, unless something massive happens, like quantum computing comes and shuts it down and back programs things. Then that is the way it's going to go so far. So I think that is very realistic to think, but it's just whether it gets all pushed onto one, like almost overledger, a bit like quant's kind of being an overledger for everything. But what I mean is, like, they put it all onto one system, and that's the system they mainly use, and then they use side systems of that, or whether they just split it up, like, is the housing market going to have a ledger? But even then, you're still going to have a way to exchange from one thing to another. And the beauty of XRP is that it doesn't have to be fiat to crypto, or crypto to like stocks or anything like that. XRP actually works as an exchange token that can exchange any value from any one asset to another asset.
There's value to that.
And that's why I think that it's possible that it could be the XRP ledger. But you never know what's going to come out down the line. But it's definitely, at this point, for me, when I see the initial investment opportunities in the short term, worth having that in my bag. Like, I don't see why I wouldn't hold it, at least some of it, for long term, because if it does start to get up to those prices in short term, and then banks say to me, you can take like loans against your XRP, I'd be like, thank you very much, never going to pay tax on that, pay your interest back and diversify that into something less risky and keep my asset that could be a lottery ticket to something that's worth 35,000 a coin, you know?
Yeah, I have told my my followers that I'm selling half of my, and you might think this is crazy, but I'm selling half of my XRP at $5, right? And that is going to be a massive amount of take profit for me. That's going to be freaking fantastic for me. And then I'm keeping a moon bag, and I'm keeping and for that reason, because I will never discount I think the world we live in now is wild, right? And I think that the idea of NFTs in and of itself and how things are shifting because of crypto, I don't think you can discount or count out any of tokenizing the world as a whole. That's the best way I've ever heard that explained. So thank you. Because so many times it just becomes an argument or whatever, and it doesn't need to be. And I always talk to people about, like, look, it's about freaking having a mature, educated discussion And then whether you end up believing the same thing or not at the end of it, that's
Sure.
fine. But just because one person thinks differently than you doesn't make the other person stupid or an idiot or whatever, you know? So
yeah, and I also think that I'm not an XRP maxi. I like
I was about to
crypto as
ask
a
you
whole.
that. Are you an XRP army, XRP maxi, or what?
No, I just think that it's a no, like I've said, for the reasons that I've said, I just think it's, and like people say on my channel, like, why are you shilling XRP to us? I'm like, I'm not trying to shill you XRP, whether you believe in what I'm saying or not. I'm just trying to give you the opinion that, and show you that it is possible for all of this to happen. And like a lot of people just block that straight away. It's like, oh, we're Bitcoin maxis, and everything else isn't good. And I don't think everything else isn't good because I hold XRP. Like, I think Ethereum's great. It has its problems. I think XRP has its problems short term, like the lawsuit. But then I see that as an extra investment opportunity. But like Cardano, I think it's a great project. Again, it has its problem. We're in a speculative market. It's got still not running smart contracts. Yeah, they're running, starting to run them on the testnet now, etc. But like what I'm saying is, I do like I hold the E-chain. I think that's going to solve, if it does what it says on the tin, it's going to solve a lot of real world problems. Like, I think there's a lot of cryptos that are awesome. I really do. I just think that the stars are aligning in a way that short and long term, there's definitely massive benefits to holding XRP. And you can say, yeah, but it's speculative, and but I can say, yeah, but so's every crypto. That's my logic.
So is the whole market. So speaking of speculation, where do you think we're at with the market as a whole, and where we're heading over the next 6 months ish?
Sure, and I'm very I like what you were saying earlier about where you think that the market is in terms of the banks. I think it's very funny that you've got people like Elon Musk who are tweeting when the market's going down, and people think that it's Elon Musk manipulating the market. I think that the market moves naturally anyway, and he gives it a push in one direction or another. And I think that it's weird that it goes down to the zone that Tesla are accumulating Bitcoin initially. I think that it's weird that we've been stalling in that accumulation zone. And I've got like a graph on my PC of like a little purple square that I put in when Tesla started buying, and every single time we touch that square, the candle wicks are huge, and something's buying a hell of a lot of it, Bitcoin at those prices. I think it's weird when we came down there that the next day banks said that, like Wells Fargo, that we're custodying Bitcoin for wealthy investors. I think that a lot of things don't make sense at the minute. And it doesn't mean that the price short term can't come down or go up or whatever. But I do think that in 3 months' time, we're going to find out what's been happening now. And I think that a lot of people are going to be surprised by what it is. But I don't know whether that's because Tesla has sold their Bitcoin, or other companies, millions of companies will have started to hodl. And I think it's probably the latter. We've started to see Bitcoins move off exchanges into hardware wallets. And I know for a fact that from when I've been in the market before, when the sentiment is low, that we are near a bottom, and the sentiment is so low at the minute. Everyone hates every video that I put out. They like say that I'm like, when's it going to go to the moon? Like, stop trying to sell a product. And like, I'm not doing any of that. I'm just talking about crypto. But it shows you where the voice or the mind of the retail investor is, and that's not me being higher than them. I'm a retail investor. It just gives me an incentive of where I think the bottom of the market is, and I think we're very, very close, if not there, because for those reasons. And the same when you're at the top, people think it's going to go up forever, and it isn't. Like, even if we go down, like we're still going to retrace. We're still going to rally up to like a retracement rally, because that's what always happens. But you're asking where it's going to go, medium and long term. Like, if you're talking long term, I think crypto's is going to be a part of the world. That's what it is, and it's just whether you pick the cryptos that are going to stay around, and by staying informed, you've got a better chance of doing that. If you're talking medium term, I think the price will go up. If you're talking short term, anybody's guess day to day, because it just depends on who's doing what in the news. And you've got to remember that people in the news are dominated a lot by the big companies as well. So just for example, like Amazon own what is the New York Times? Do they own something like that? The New York Financial Times.
I don't know that, but that would not surprise me at all.
Yeah, Jeff Bezos, I think actually owns them. But that's just an example of like, the media are paid by the big companies, or are
no
in
doubt.
bed with them. They're friends. They all hang around. We're going to put this story out. We know that they're allowed to literally talk their book. So they can say, we're not buying Bitcoin and be buying it, and you won't see it for 3 months. And I just think it's funny how when we're at the top, the media are telling you to buy. And when we're at the bottom, everyone's telling you to sell. Like, how is that? How can people not have their eyes open to that? Like at this point, like it's happened so many times now, you know?
Yeah, and I think
And
I think that's where having time, when they say instead of timing the market, time in the market. I will
yeah,
say, and I've told my followers, like, one thing that I have learned is a lot of people. I've heard people literally like give me crap about taking profits, and I'm like, listen, we get in this to create wealth, right? That's why most people get in this, right? Like, you can say I'm in this for the tech, but you're in this for the tech because ultimately it can benefit you long term. Okay, fine. I think that it's really interesting that, I mean, you and I literally, I almost feel like you're speaking out of my mind with some of what you just said, because it is absolutely, the writing is on the wall, guys. Like, when the banks are telling you that this is this fantastic thing and it's going forever and da 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 da, it means that they're setting up for a short position. Here's the reality, guys. We are dumb money, the institutions are the smart money. And all that means is we don't have enough money to actually move the market around. And if you think for 1 second, with no regulations, which essentially there's not really hardly any regulation overseeing if you don't think that backroom conversations are happening, you're freaking wrong. I'm just telling you, you're wrong. We're humans, right?
mm-hmm.
We're going to have conversations. Bigwigs are going to have dinner parties. They're going to talk about what they are doing, what they aren't doing. And at the end of the day, guys, this is all about the wealthy getting wealthier. And one of the ways that they do that is by creating fear in the market. And that's the way that they shake people up. Here's the deal, guys. Tell me which headline sells better. Bitcoin is good for the economy, or Bitcoin's crashing and it's going to zero. Which one's getting more clicks? And ultimately, we're in a click world. That's just what it is, you know. So, dude, this has been freaking great. I want to ask you one last question, then I was going to let the chat answer a couple questions. Do you still have a couple minutes?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, cool. So, my last question that I ask everybody is, if you could be a superhero, right? What superhero would you be, or superpower would you have, and why?
If we can say superpower, then
Okay.
I'd like to be able to teleport. But
you like? Oh, you know what? Somebody else just said that to me the other day. Who told me that? Teleport?
And then, but people say, "Oh, why wouldn't you rather fly?" And I feel like, well, that flying would be cool too. But if you could teleport, you can just teleport up high and drop yourself, feel like you're flying, but still be able to get there just like faster anyway. So that's why I do want to teleport.
You're
So
the best of
just
both
so
worlds.
yeah, I like traveling as well, but I also like sleeping in my own bed. So I'd like to teleport back when I want to go to sleep.
Wouldn't that be so great? I could be like, you know what, Will? Hey, dude, I want to come over and have a conversation real quick. Now, mind you, I'm across the pond, right? And I'm like, and then all of a sudden we're like there, we have a chat. And then I'm like, all right, dude, I got to get back home. See ya. Go. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I actually think basically that will happen soon, because it's basically happening with, like, you know, like Microsoft Teams and Discord and everything. But when you can put on virtual reality headset and be sitting in like my room, or like I could be sitting in yours, like if I could just augment reality, my view to you, that's basically where the metaverse is, and that's where it gets super complex. But we'll just leave that for another speculative time.
Yeah, no, for sure. But I can absolutely see just the places that tech is heading. I totally see it. I'm with you for sure.
And bro, like, when you talked about NFTs, you need, if you don't have any, and I don't have many at the minute, I'm really going to start like really digging into them a bit, because when we get to a place where we are in a bit more of a metaverse, which I think will be a long time, like I think you're going to see people having NFTs and charging people to see them in like a virtual reality sort of world. So it's going to get a bit, I think you're going to start seeing some nuts things out of NFTs that I don't know, that people don't think expecting yet.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of practical use case, but the idea that, just like Decentraland, for example, to where I can literally go create I can buy a plot of land, I can put a casino, just a simple idea, put a casino on it, and then you can come into my casino and like the games and the things that I offer, and actually spend crypto in there, or however you want to transact. Man, just some of the ideas when I've talked this over to people that aren't into crypto, they literally think I know what they think. They think this man is off his freaking rocker. But the reality is, this is where our world is headed. It is. It's just a reality. So
yeah, and I think that's summed up by like, even like I'm a tech geek and like the game inside of it. And when I first heard about Bitcoin, I thought the tech was cool, but then these guys were like, yeah, it's going to be like a massive currency in the future, and I was like, shut up. Like, it's not. Like, it's a great idea. We're all sitting here in 2015 and 2016 or whatever, playing Call of Duty and sending each other bitcoins because it's funny. But
right.
I was like, none of it's going to be anywhere. And then fast forward like a few years, now I'm like, oh Jesus, they were right, you know. And then now I believe more than anything. That's what I was going to say about the people saying that the metaverse or Decentraland or whatever is ridiculous, but it isn't, because that's what people thought a few years ago about this, and the accelerated rate of adoption is just ridiculous.
No doubt. I always stress, like, guys, you might think that some of these prices seem crazy, but I think a big part of what you maybe not right now you don't, but just because you've seen the drop if you got in the last month, but the reality is we are early. If you're getting in right now, you are still very early. And I, again, not a financial advisor, not financial advice, but this to me is a huge freaking opportunity. And I don't know. I would hate for anyone to regret just, questioning themselves enough that they don't, I would hate to be the person that looks back and says, I'm not the guy that looks back and says, man, I wish I would have. I'm not. I want to be able to move forward and say, you know what? I learned, because even if I'm wrong, I learned from X, Y, and Z. And I ultimately want to be able to, this is something I say a lot. Smart people learn from their own mistakes, and truly wise people learn from others' mistakes. And I try to share some of my mistakes because I want you to be able to learn from it, And yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So, dude, this has been great.
I've got a question in my chat. So Lee's saying, "Can I discuss JP Morgan coin?" Lee, if you're going to post this on your YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's Nick, isn't it? That's your name.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah. If you go and visit Nick's YouTube, I don't know if you've got your channel up yet, have you?
No, it's under Crypto Keeper. Yeah. So if you click on if you go onto my, I got a link tree set up. And if you click into my link tree, you can click right into my YouTube.
Sweet. So guys, if you don't already follow the Crypto Keeper on TikTok, go and follow him now. And if you want to check out this whole live, Lee, I'm talking to you specifically because you're asking me about JPM coin. We discussed this earlier. So when Nick uploads this to the Crypto Keeper on YouTube, which is in his bio, you can check the whole thing out there. And we talked about JPM coin there, bro. Just so I don't go over it for everyone who stayed in the video. I'm not trying to be rude and ignore your questions either. And you're talking about price predictions for XRP too. We did talk about those. I didn't put an exact time frame on it because I think time's the most difficult thing to predict with crypto. But we talked about short-term, medium-term, long-term sort of prices there. So go and check his YouTube out and check him out on TikTok if you don't already follow him, guys.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I appreciate that for sure. So let me just finish off with this because everybody's asking like stuff that we've already went over. What would you say is for the new investor, for someone that's just getting into the space? I always like to hear what would be just what you would consider to be the most solid advice that you could give somebody just coming into the space.
Listen to what other people say, but don't take it as Bible. And don't go too far out of the top 50 cryptos, because you don't really need to you don't really need to play the lottery and try and get into new projects, because you are going to get stung if you do that at some point. And the return on investment that you're going to get on the top 50 medium to long term probably just as good as what you're going to get on anything else that's not in the top 50 anyway, because you might pick 100 and any one of them's a winner, but if you pick, let's say, 50 and any one's a winner, if you pick the top 50 cryptos, 20 of them are probably going to win with just less percentage return. So if you're looking to invest and have exposure to the market, probably pick a basket of things from different blockchains that do different things, and learn firstly about Bitcoin, understand how that works and what the idea of it was and still is. Learn about Ethereum and the difference between Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then probably learn like 2 or 3 more. So maybe like what Uniswap is, understand what a stable coin is, and then understand what XRP or XLM, those sort of coins are as well. And then from there, you have a bit of a base understanding of the differences between cryptocurrencies, but also you'll start to form a preference of what you personally think will be more valuable in the future. And whatever that is where you should invest your money. You should never invest on solely what anyone else thinks. It should be your own opinion. You can listen to people's opinions, but then go and do your own research if you wanted to put your own money in, is what I'd say.
Yeah, no, that's great advice. I want to always be able to point back at myself that I made a decision to do whatever it was that I did, because then at the end of the day, I have the actual accountability. I made the decision. I did the research. I don't get the opportunity to say, well, Will told me this. So no, guys, listen, this is about you and your future. So just put time into it, put effort into it, spend time researching. Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. Dude, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
I just want to say one more thing onto that, before we sign off, is that we live in a world now where like information is anyone can access, like we can all access the same information. So if you really do want to do the research, even if you don't think you're intelligent enough or you don't understand it, you've got the time. You don't have to rush into anything. Like now's the time to be researching, and everyone has access to the same things. And the where you take information from is up to you. If you want to go and read articles, that's fine. If you want to go and watch YouTube videos and listen to what loads of different people are saying and get a more opinionated but still cross-section view, that's fine. If you want to listen to podcasts, that's fine. That's up to you and how you learn. That's why I think this space is pretty cool, because it's quite like there's loads of different opinions. So from that, you take what you want to know. But if you did want to make like a less risky investment, it's best to diversify your portfolio, but stay within the top 100 always. I'd definitely say if you're new. So sorry, I just rambled again, but I just think that the information is accessible by all. So the only excuse that you've got is yourself if you don't want to look through it. That's what I'm saying.
I agree with you, man. I agree with you. So thank you so much for coming on, man. I really appreciate it. Guys, as always, if nobody's told you before today, I freaking love each and every one of you. If you're not following Crypto Insight UK, shoot them a follow. If you're not following me, shoot me a follow. And hey, man, let's get on. So I'll probably jump on one time when you're on live talking about something. We'll get together again soon.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for listening to my opinions. I know that I've just talked a lot and it's been quite like me centralized, and next time we'll talk about you. I didn't mean it to be like that. And I appreciate what you're doing, bro. I want you to keep up what you're doing now. Stay dedicated, keep that content coming out. People appreciate it. You get in places, you already can see that. Like I keep seeing people that you're interviewing. I think that's awesome. So props to you for doing what you're doing, man. Cool. And I don't think that we all notice it. Like all those people who influence in the crypto space, like you will probably already learning it, is that we all actually contact each other. Like I don't contact some people. I never spoke to Crypto Wendy or Blockchain Boy, but like I speak to like Zach Rector, Joshua J, Crypto Serpent. Like we all DM each other. Like even the UK, there's some UK ones that we DM each other. But yeah, you're being recognized and people are talking about you. So keep doing what you're doing. Basically, what I want to say.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Have a great day, dude.
Yeah, peace up, bro. Thank you. See you later.
Have a good one.
Bye.